This is page 2 of the Chapter 4 practice test for Algebra 2. Number 17 and 18 up at the top were continued from the prior page, which just says find product. So this one follows a pattern, or you can just FOIL it. Either way will work. So I'm just going to FOIL it. So first is 25x squared. Outside is 15x. Inside is also 15x. And then last is 9. So combine these two, that gets you your 30x. And then just bring everything else down. Same thing here. So you want to square that first term, which is 49x squared. Pattern says to double this. So 2 times 7x is 14x. Double it is 28x. And then 2 squared is 4. 19 through 22, we want to factor completely. So first we look for a GCF. For 19, I don't see one, but I do see 4 terms. So I'm going to factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms together. The GCF of the first 2 looks like 3n squared. And what's left? N minus 8. And then the GCF of the second 2 terms looks like 5. Also leaving us with n minus 8. So the first binomial is the n minus 8. And the second one is the 3n squared plus 5, whatever's left over. Look for a GCF. I don't see one, so let's factor by grouping. GCF here is 4b squared. That leaves us with 7b plus 5. The GCF here is negative 5, which leaves us with 7b plus 5. So these 2 binomials are the same. And the 4b squared minus 5 is left over. Jumping down to number 21. Looking for a GCF. I think there is one. Yeah. 4 goes into all of those terms and b. So let's factor out of 4b first. That leaves us with 6b to the third plus 6b squared minus 7b minus 7. So now I'm going to group these first 2 together and these second 2 together and look for a GCF here. I'll bring this 4b down at the end. So let's see, I've got 6b squared. That leaves me with b plus 1. And the GCF here is negative 7, which leaves me with b plus 1. So these 2 binomials are the same. So I've got a b plus 1. I've got a 6b minus 7. And then that 4b that we factored out at the beginning. All right, jumping to 22. Looking for a GCF. I see 4. And that leaves us with 4n cubed plus 20n squared plus 5n plus 25. So factor or group the first 2 terms together and the second 2 terms together. Look for a GCF here. I see 4n cubed squared. And that leaves me with n plus 5. And the GCF here is 5, which also leaves me with n plus 5. So these 2 binomials are the same. That's your first binomial. And left over we have 4n squared plus 5. And then don't forget to bring down that 4. All right, 23 and 24 says factor the common factor out of each expression. Okay, so let's see. I'm seeing 4u squared. Yep, that leaves me with 5b squared plus u plus 4. 24, looking for the GCF. I'm seeing 8 goes into all of those, and there's an n to the second in all of those. That leaves me with 6mn minus 2n squared plus 5. Jumping down to 25. The directions just say factor completely. So you always want to look for a GCF. On this one I see 4. That leaves me with b squared plus v minus 30. So let's see, this factors to plus 6 minus 5, bring down the 4. Number 26, I see a 6 GCF, so x squared minus 4x minus 12. So this trinomial factors to 6 and 2. Yeah, x minus 6 and x plus 2, bring down the 6. 27, is there a GCF? Yes, there is. So factor out the 2. And then factor the trinomial more. I've got a minus 8 and a plus 1. Bring down the 2. 28, look for a GCF, yes. So factor out a 2, got n squared minus 18. 18n plus 80. That's got to be 10 and 8, right? N minus 10, n minus 8. Bring down the 2. 29. That one's super easy. 10 and 5. So a minus 10, a minus 5. 30. Pretty easy. X plus 5, x minus 3. 31 looks like a pattern. Probably. Yes, it's a difference of perfect squares. So the square root of 16b squared is 4b. And the square root of 25 is 5. One of them's plus, one of them's minus. Same thing here. Square root of m squared is m. Square root of 16 is 4. One of them's plus, one of them's minus. Is there a GCF? No. But it does follow a pattern because this is a perfect square. Square root of 4a squared is 2a. Square root of 25 is 5. And if you double that, it's going to get you to negative 20, so it's minus. This one follows that same pattern. Square root of 25n squared is 5n. Square root of 16 is 4. They're both minus. And we're done.